Hello and happy Friday to anyone watching. As always, I'll give a few seconds to see if anyone might pop in, at least visibly. And as always, I do apologize for the sound of wind. It's not as bad today as it has been. Melissa, hello, and welcome to the Periscope stream. Well, I guess there's a few gusts of wind that are a little bit annoying, but it doesn't seem to be too bad overall. But hopefully you can hear the sound of birds tweeting and all that wonderful stuff, because it is a really nice day out. Oh man, and it looks like there's some people over on the logs where I usually balance myself, so hopefully this won't be too awkward. But I hope that anyone watching right now is having a lovely, lovely Friday. It's finally the end of the work week, except obviously for those of you that work on weekends. But even if you do, I hope you have a good weekend and that work goes nicely. Yeah, I think I will avoid the logs for today, unfortunately, because there's a couple of people and a kid, and I don't want to be that creepy guy. Well, I don't want to be creepier than I usually am, I suppose. But there were a few things I was wanting to bring up for this stream. Me retail stinks, no weekend free for you. I'm sorry, Melissa. But I hope that I hope that you're able to have a good amount of time outside of work, and that when you are able to get your time off, that it goes well. And welcome, other person who is in the stream. Did not show your name, so I apologize for not greeting you, but welcome. So yeah, as far as things I wanted to talk about, and someone whose name is entirely a number, hello. As far as topics for today, there were two overall. One that I'm still learning about and don't have a lot of information on, but did want to share because I got a question from, well, I'll leave their name anonymous for now, I'll ask them later. Hello from Minnesota in the US. For anyone watching this on YouTube later that said hello from Russia. So apparently I'm being viewed from Russia. Very cool. Yeah, the topic that I wanted to talk about just briefly, the question was if I could give any information on, I'm paraphrasing overall, but it's either mania or being manic, which they both essentially mean the same thing, but it's, at least for me, hard to remember what's the best context. But one bit of information that I've gotten from mania is that, well, apparently that's something that the late Robin Williams dealt with. Hello, D. Smith 93. Welcome to the Periscope stream. But yeah, it's something that has to do. I don't know if it exists outside of bipolar, but I know being bipolar is a major part of it. Essentially, your moods and your mental state can swing from to two extremes, essentially. Manic being one extreme and depressive being the other. And I'm definitely, that's something that I wish I knew years ago, because, I would unfortunately jokingly say, it's like, this person has bipolar disorder, they're acting so bipolar. And, just kind of assuming that it means, you go back and forth from being a nice person to a jerk. And that's not what it means at all. So, yeah, again, this is something I'm still learning about, and we'll try to share more information about in the future. But, whenever it comes to, like, someone with bipolar disorder, please do keep in mind that it's one of two extremes. You have your depressive states, and then you have your manic states. And again, I mean, I know I mentioned this briefly a second ago, but probably one of the most prominent names as far as people that suffer, or in this case suffered, from bipolar disorder would have to be Robin Williams. unfortunately. And he's a person who, I mean, over years and years of dealing with that, you know, unfortunately the depressive side got the best of him. So yeah, that's one of the unfortunate things. But please definitely do keep that in mind, especially if, you know, if anyone you know, my nephew has a tell for his bipolar episodes now. He gets silent. Doctors just told us. Oh, that is very interesting. And yeah, that's one major thing to look for too. Whether it's you that might have bipolar disorder, or, you know, someone you love. Once the diagnosis is made, you try and look for signs, or like the telltale signs of what could be going on. And if you're an empathetic person, you're really good at talking. Well, why, thank you, Wayner91. I appreciate that. But yeah, you try and look for those telltale signs of, like, what could be happening to this person. You can think of it as triggers essentially. Don't they have seasons or patterns, months of manic or depression? Honestly, again, this is something I'm still learning about, so I don't know all the information, but I do know that manic to depressive swings can last anywhere from what I read online, it could last anywhere from a number of hours to a number of days to weeks to months. So, I mean, you could see it as a form of, like, you know, seasons for people that have, like, long extensions of depressive to manic episodes, but honestly, I don't know enough whether to say it depends on the person or or what, really. I wish I knew more information to share about that, but again, that's something I'm wanting to learn more about, and hopefully we'll be able to sometime in the future, whether it's, you know, here on one of these Periscopes or in a future vlog sometime. No, that's cool. Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, this is definitely still a learning experience for me. I mean, I personally, you know, have first-hand experience with depression and the southern side coming out there, and anxiety and ADHD. Been diagnosed with all three, at least. But yeah, one of the big reasons, we'll see, I will share what is going on with my nephew with you, if that helps you learn. Oh, you've been diagnosed with those too, Ron Riddell? Well, thank you for sharing that. And Missy, if you want to share it, definitely do. I don't know if you mean here in the chat on Periscope. Might be easier to do that over Twitter. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to, definitely feel free. But moving on from that, what were you diagnosed with? Oh, well, my son has ADHD and my daughter has Asperger's. Oh, wow. Wizzy BSB, I've actually had a few people in some of the Periscopes over this past week say that they either have Asperger's, or they might, or they think they might. That some of them haven't been diagnosed, some of them are actually scared to be diagnosed. But based on what I do know, because my wife is a counseling therapist, I know that whether you have it yourself or someone you love has that, it's definitely not an easy thing. And, well, I mean, really any of these can be and often are difficult to deal with, but one of the reasons why I'm trying to make the PapaKennMedia channel in the moving on into the future more mental health and mental illness oriented, in addition to the other stuff that I do, is that I want to try and help remove the stigma, try and help people understand that if you suffer from any of these things, that doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just something you have to deal with, and it's something that many, many, many people deal with, and some deal with it in their own way. Some people refuse to even find out And it's just really hard because of all the stigma in the world about all of these things. Cognitive differences. Oh yeah, yeah. I like that phrase. That's good. That's good. I'll try and use that more in my vocabulary from now on. Thank you for that. But yeah, I'm on 30 milligrams Adderall. Tried to quit and can't. And Wizzy, you're a single mom, so it's hard work. I can, I am absolutely sure that that's hard work, and I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're able to get help at some point with that, whether it's someone maybe being able to help with the kids medically, or I don't know, things of that nature. Hi, Tim Cake. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the Periscope stream. I'm not going to be able to do this particular stream much longer, unfortunately. So I do want to move on to the one last topic that I wanted to touch on. I'm doing good, thank you. But before I move on to the next topic, I do want to say, even though these are rather short-lived streams, oh hi, hi Tab or Tal, I'm doing all right. But if there's ever anything you want to discuss, if there's something you need help with, or just if you need to vent, or if you need any kind of advice, again, I'm not an expert on these things, so I wouldn't, rely on everything I say, but I do want to be a helping hand. I want to be a voice you can talk to, or a listening ear. Sorry for interrupting, but what are you talking about? Right now, just mental illness, mental health in general. I was talking about bipolar disorder and manic and depressive states of that a little bit ago. So that's what I'm starting with. I'm about to move on to another topic, but yeah, blah, blah, blah. My brain, catch up. ADHD, don't do this to me right now. Okay. So yeah, what I just wanted to say, my hurdle was accepting my disorders and the meds. I'll touch on that here in just a second, really quickly. But if you have anything you want to talk about, anything you want to talk about in private, don't feel comfortable sharing in a public space, definitely feel free to send me a direct message on Twitter. If you go to the Facebook page, that's facebook.com/PapaKennMedia. You can send me a message through there, or you can even send me an email at PapaKennMedia@gmail.com. Easiest way for me to recognize what you're talking about is to use the hashtag. So, yeah, definitely, if you need to talk about anything, I can't guarantee I can get to you, immediately, because, I have my full-time job and everything, that I'm currently on lunch break. But, hi birds. But I definitely feel free to do that, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But well, before I move on to the final topic, a person said your biggest hurdle was accepting the meds and everything. See, it'll seem strange a bit, but here's the point. I'm a foreigner, so I need some English practice. Can you help me with that? I, unfortunately, in this forum, I can't really, Tim Cake, just because I'm trying to touch on some topics, and I don't have a lot of time in which to do that. But if you want to contact me directly, again, through DM or direct message on Twitter, I'll do what I can. I can't really guarantee much, but, I'll help in whatever way I can. But I actually kind of forgot what I was about to say. So, fewer I'm bored streams, more real issues, topics. Oh, thank you, RN Pro. Thank you. No, I don't have WhatsApp. But moving on to the final topic I wanted to touch on, because this is something that has been brought up a few times, whether it's in the here on the Periscopes, or in Twitter, in conversation. And it's something that I think is really, really important, whether you have whether you're suffering from depression or anything of that nature, anything that could lead you to feel like you just can't take it anymore, if you understand what I'm saying. Basically what I'm talking about is the topic of suicide. And I mean, that's one thing that has definitely been brought up. What do I think about Kazakhstan? I'm sorry, Tim Cake, but I can't really talk about that right now, just in the current thing when I'm talking about. Oh, that's where you're from. Oh, well, that's really interesting. I wish I could talk about that some, but I just don't have the time right now. I apologize. But in regard to the topic of suicide and trying to fight that, one of the things, well, whether it's just, you're fighting mental illness, or you or someone might be having suicidal thoughts, it's like, I can't emphasize enough to how much you need to get help for that. You need to contact someone. You need to get in touch. And one of the hard things about that is, especially being an introvert myself, is that, particularly in today's world, a lot of people don't like to talk on the phone. They don't feel comfortable talking on the phone. And that's what most of the things that are offered out there are. It's like, you have your hotlines, you have like crisis hotlines, which are definitely helpful and save so many people. But there is another alternative out there that you can use. I think, I don't know if this is international. Can you change topic? I'm sorry, Tim, but this is what I'm doing this Periscope for. I'm sorry. But in addition to, it's boring a bit. Oh, it's definitely not an easy way out. The suicide, that's absolutely for sure. Some people see it that way. Thanks for trying to bring awareness to the issues around mental illness. You're welcome. I'm doing everything, whatever I can, which, it isn't much, but I am trying. But as I was saying, if you or someone isn't comfortable with talking with someone on the phone, but they're going through that kind of situation, and unfortunately I don't know that this is international. I do know it's at least based in the U.S. If it is international, I will do my best to find out and let you know. But you can actually, there is a crisis text line that you can send to, and the number you send it to is very simple, 741-741. And according to the website, it says you text the word START to 741-741. Have I struggled with suicides in my life ever? I have never personally attempted to commit suicide. In my deepest points of depression, I have certainly had thoughts. I have certainly struggled with that. But I definitely know people personally that both have struggled with it and have committed suicide. So in that regard, I don't know really of anyone that hasn't been affected in some form by suicide, unfortunately. But as I was saying, just to reiterate, in case anyone just joined, if you or anyone you know and love is experiencing issues, experiencing thoughts of suicide, and you or they are not comfortable with talking over the phone, there is a text line available. According to what Tal said in one of the messages there, that it seems to be US based only. If there is an international one, I will try and find it, and I will share a link to that when I post this to YouTube. As far to able to rationalize physical harming yourself. Well, that's good. That's good. And am I going to tweet that out? I will tweet it out, Melissa. I definitely will. But once again, the number to text is 741-741. Apparently it's only US based, but again, I will try and see if there's an international version. And according to the website, it says to text START to that number. I don't know whether that's an absolute or if they'll answer no matter what you say. But that is an alternative for people who, again, don't feel comfortable talking or just don't want to, speak audibly over the phone. So yeah, I do hope that that is helpful in some way. And I will be tweeting out the website that I got this from. I will be tweeting out the number itself and the instructions following this. And I do hope that's able to help someone out there somewhere. Because, some days, it's like right now out here, it's a bit chilly, but it's beautiful out and I just feel wonderful. But unfortunately, there are days where myself and others, it's like, they can be out in just absolute beautiful, wonderful weather, and it can be just a great day in general, but you can't feel that, you can't experience that, and eventually some people just reach a point where they just can't take it anymore, and it's because of the struggles that's going on in their head, and it's a tough battle that no one should have to face alone. But unfortunately, a lot of the mental illnesses cause us to go into our own little balls and hide from everyone. So that's why it's important to, and I mentioned this in a previous Periscope, that if someone you know and love is going through anything like this, it's important that you... Are you just going to speak about suicides only? Well, for the rest of this Periscope, yes, but I will be touching on other topics on future videos. But, yeah, the ADHD. Sorry, rebooting. But yeah, the important thing is to show them that you care. Show them that you're there for them. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't mean that will save them, but and even if they get angry at you for talking to them about that, or angry at you for trying to show you're there, which it does happen, just seeing or knowing that you're there is a really strong sign to them, whether they acknowledge it or not. Just knowing that someone is there, someone cares for them, can be one of the greatest strengths that can be provided to them, one of the greatest blessings that can be provided to them. So yeah. Now, one person was asking what my profession is. I am a computer programmer. What's the point? Okay, it seems like some people in the chat are getting a little bit off topic there, so what's the point of my speaking? Well, the point of my speaking is I want to help people. I want to help people understand that it's okay if you have a mental illness, or if you struggle with your mental health, that there are people out there that care, and that there shouldn't be a stigma out there for people that do struggle with that. It's like, some people, if they admit to having depression or anything in that regard, it's seen as a weakness, when it's really not. At least that's the way I see it. What language do you know? I mean, programming language. Sorry, Tim Cake. That's going to be stuff for another time to ask. You can ask me those things on Twitter if you wish, but for now I just want to stick with this current topic. But, yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be all the time I really have to talk about right now. I'm going to have to start heading back inside, but while I'm heading back, I do have time for, something related to mental health, mental illness. Like, if someone has a question, please feel free to ask that. As far as, my personal stuff, let's hold off on that for another time. You have a day good. You have a good day too, Tal. Thank you very much. Ron, thanks. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I hope, I know it's weird to say I hope you enjoyed the Periscope, considering what I talked about, but yeah, I got it, but there's, no people who's been struggling with suicides. Not sure what you mean there, Tim Cake. Too crazy. That's not an appropriate question for this forum right now. Sorry. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you very much, RN Pro. I appreciate it. But yeah. For those of you, I don't know where you are in the world right now, but if it's during the day, I hope you have a wonderful day, especially if the weather is nice. For those of you that it's nighttime, I hope you have a great night. And just in general, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I really do. Slushy Snee. Wow. Wow, what? But alright. Hate having to be on Adderall. I know. It's, well, I'm not on Adderall myself, but I know that for some people, like, using meds at all can be a major struggle, and it can actually be really hard for them to do in general. Where am I heading to? I'm heading back to my office. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind is that I actually can't remember what Adderall is for. Is it for depression or is it for ADHD? Again, I'm not an expert on these things. ADHD, okay. So yeah, there are new medications that have been coming out in recent years that actually work a lot better for some people than things like Adderall do. It's definitely something worth talking to your doctor and or your therapist about to see if anything new might be of more benefit, and might, you know, if you feel weird effects from stuff like Adderall, you know, it might work better for you overall and help you to just lead a better life in general. So yeah, just a little bit of information there. But, ooh, sorry little bee. Did not mean to come so close. It's non-narcotic. Oh, that's cool. I haven't heard of that one. But yeah, there's all kinds of different medications out there that are being made over time. Unfortunately, the newer ones do tend to be expensive. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Sorry, switching hands there real quick. But again, just when it comes to mental health, the best advice I can give right now is to stay strong. Remember, you're not alone. And again, if you feel like you have, Ritalin is out there too. Very true, very true. But if you have any questions or just need to talk about anything, feel free to contact me in the different PapaKenn social medias. And if I can't respond immediately, I do promise to respond as soon as I can. But okay, it's time for me to go. Everyone, thank you very much for joining, and I will see you on the next Periscope or on the next video I put up, whenever that is. But have a great day, night, and weekend, everyone. Later.